fans, welcome to the Week 5 edition of the Terry Sanford Coaches Report. I'm your host, Coach Jeff Morehead, and with me as always, the head coach of the Bulldogs, Coach Bruce McClelland. Coach, how are we doing today?
Doing great. Great to be here, Ed.
Coming off our first loss of the season last week against Jack Britt, 42-38. Coach, there's still a lot of positives and negatives, obviously, that the coaches and players can talk about from the game last week.
Yeah, well, I thought we played really well in phases. I think, if you take away the two big mistakes, the holding call and the one call that was a crackback block, and then a couple plays on defense, I think we played really, really well. Obviously, there's always something to clean up, even, week 1 through 3 that when we won those big games. There's always stuff to clean up. I feel like it's within something that we can control rather than something that is out of our control, which is always good.
Yeah, you can learn a lot from a win.
Yes.
You can learn a lot from a loss. You kind of, it's our first loss of the season by 4 points against a very good opponent that we're probably going to see win a lot of games going forward. They have a big showdown with 71st this week, so I'm real curious how that game plays out, considering we played both those teams pretty good this season. But does the loss kind of refocus a team for that next week's practice?
Certainly, I think it depends on your mindset. I always tell, my buddies after the game, like, hey, man, y'all played well. I know you want to clean some things up. I always like to learn from winning. Yeah. But, that's a selfish moniker to have. I won't say we needed a loss, but we needed that tough game, that tough ending, the tough third downs, the different things that we had to pick up, different things we had to overcome during the game. And I think it was really good at halftime, the adjustments, learning how to make adjustments because we had to make them because they're such a good ball club, and we had made some mistakes and got behind. So I'm really excited about, implementing that, adding that to our tool bag as we go forward.
Let's talk about making adjustments. The coaches they talk on Saturday via text. We meet on Sundays. We talk about the opponent we're playing that week, and we put in the game plan. Defense puts in a game plan. Offense does as well. Things happen during the week where, maybe someone from the other team doesn't play, and you notice this pregame, and you may have to change your game plan on the fly. So you practice all week, 4 days, and then you have to change it or go back to something you didn't practice that much that week. Yeah. And so just, making adjustments, game plan, we can be very proud of the kids for handling these adjustments and listening to coaches pregame and halftime, Coach.
Well, very much so. And you left out at the 8 hours of you guys watching film on Saturday, and I'm watching offense and defense, trying to add any supplemental things, but you're watching multiple films, and if you get anything else or you've had anything else during the year, so it's a day-long process on Saturday, Sunday. You're putting it all together with your staffs, and then you have to morph the offensive game plan with the defensive game plan, and then special teams. So there's so many things to clean up, especially in high school football when you're working all week, teaching school during the week. So you guys are second to none at what you do, but really proud of the young men at halftime, the way they adjusted to all the things that you gave them.
You make a scouting report, you watch film before practice, sometimes after practice. The young men watch film on their own.
Yep, certainly.
Coaches are trying to steal some time during the day to maybe get a glance at film while we're teaching. And you just try to give the team any sort of insight that may come to you on a Tuesday or a Wednesday you didn't think about over the weekend. A lot of times you have a game plan, and then you see it on the field Monday at practice, and you're like, we got to scrap this. We can't. This does not look how we envisioned it on the board. You see the players maybe not executing how you thought they would, and so you're maybe changing the game plan 2 days into practice.
I mean, it's a great point. And then what if you have somebody sick during the week? What if somebody's banged up and you didn't know about it till Monday, and it's a little worse and it drags on? Or just like you said, something just doesn't feel right. We've been coaching together so long, and, we know these guys. That's why I tell people it's important to know your players, know your staff. Obviously, the staff, we know each other, but knowing your players, what fits them and what they can do, and you guys are so good at that Tuesday and Wednesday you might see something and say, hey, man, I didn't, this fits something I saw at practice. So it's an ongoing process.
We were down 21-13 at halftime. This defensively, some penalties that we had, at the wrong time. You're going to get flags thrown on you during the game. It's football. It happens. But when those flags happen, a lot of times can be a huge momentum killer. You know, a couple fourth down penalties called against us last week can just make the Brit drive, or any team we're playing, make that drive go longer. What was the message to the team at halftime down by 1 score?
I told them I was mad. I wasn't mad at them. I was mad for them. You know, the penalties and things that happened, they were at the most costly times. Just like you said, you're going to have some penalties, you're going to have some mistakes, but they just seem to happen at the most, you know, inopportune times. And then on top of that, just felt like we were trying to react to what they did. Like you said, you know, they had a guy out, so they went to something different. I just felt like we should have been, we needed to be more confident in the second half and what we lined up in, keep it a little more simple like you guys did, and then just attack them.
You know, coming out of the half, you know, we trade scores. It's for a fan, it's a very entertaining. It's a very entertaining. Recover the onside kick, give us a chance to, you know, possibly tie the game up, but just some miscues from us just kind of prevented us from winning that game, Coach.
Yeah, especially like I talked about earlier with you know, with the players of the holding call when he's already in the end zone, you know, walking in the end zone. You know, we talked to Bassie and Jacob about execution. We executed, but then you get a crackback block that's, you know, a bang play. You know, we felt like the guy turned and saw him in time, but that takes points off the board. And then so after we, you know, get 2 touchdowns called back, we miss a field goal. So there was some things there that, you know, we can certainly clean up, and you have to be able to respond to those at inopportune times, just like, you know, like you said, you're going to get flags or anything, but on those crucial plays, you got to know when the play's past you or behind you to give it up.
Yeah, just being around the guys yesterday in the building, on the practice field, I don't get the sense that they've lost confidence. I feel like I definitely saw some refocus yesterday, and just knowing that 100%. You know, we still have potential to be a very good team. We just got to clean up some things, make sure we line up right defensively. I've always said if you're lined up wrong, you're beat before the play starts. I'm not sure what the offense equivalent is to that, but I do like how the guys responded as I was texting them over the weekend, talking about things, and just I'm encouraged by what we'll see hopefully on Friday night versus Westover.
That's a great point.
Our 2 players of the week this week, senior quarterback Jacob Moore and sophomore athlete Sebastian O'Keefe. Those guys had big games last week. Excited for y'all to hear them speak about their performances last week. Just 2 great performances last week, Coach.
Just, you know, sorry to interrupt, but just 2 young men that are great athletes, great football players, and a million times better young men, and student, in the epitome of the word student athlete.
Absolutely. We'll talk to those players after the break.
Go Dogs.
Bulldog fans, we want to invite you to hopefully a new tradition for our program, which starts next Thursday as we host our middle school, Max Abbott. This will be their second game of the season. They open up this Thursday with Nick Gerald's. They are playing Pine Forest next Thursday night at 7 o'clock at our stadium, at Bill Yeager Field, Armstrong Stadium. You're used to seeing our JVs play Thursday night. We are on the bye next week, so we thought it'd be a perfect time to invite our middle school team up. They'll have team meal like we do. They'll watch us practice, and then they'll walk on the field and get that varsity game feel next Thursday night at Terry Sanford. Go Dogs. Welcome back to the Terry Sanford Coaches Report. Coach Mack, our first player of the week.
Hey, my pleasure, Coach. First player of the week is senior quarterback Jacob Moore.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Jacob, welcome back to the podcast. I feel like you've been on the radio show and podcast a lot the last couple years, which means you're having great games for us. Just some quick stats on the season for Jacob. 851 yards passing through 4 games, 11 touchdown passes, and then 333 yards rushing, 6 TDs, 17 touchdowns in 4 games, Jacob. Wow. Those just sort of stands out to me a little bit.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's been really fun, and I couldn't do it without my teammates.
A huge game on Friday night versus Jack Britt. 29 for 35, 329 yards passing, 3 touchdown passes, and then 11 carries for 49 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns total. You know, just how is the team playing through our first 4 games of the year, Jacob?
It's been a roller coaster, I feel like. Starting out hot with 71st and beating them, coming off that really big game, and then playing Pine Forest, and I feel like we played down to our competition a little bit, and then Smith, that too, and then hitting Jack Britt I feel like we played a decent game, compared to the others, but yeah, it's been great.
I know Coach Mack and I talked about this in our first segment. There's definitely some positives that we can on both sides. I mean, I think offensively there's probably more positives than defensively last week, but you can still look at the film and see some good things that were done and see where you might grow. Again, it's just game 4. Continue to grow over the course of the year.
Yes, sir.
Just last week, did you get the sense during practice that you could potentially have a huge game on Friday?
Coach Matt can tell me this. Monday, I think I had one of the best practices I've ever had, throwing the ball at least. And then I feel like that carried on through the week, and then hitting the game hot and heavy. I mean, throwing 29 passes, that's more than I've ever had.
Nice.
I think all the coaches can get a sense of, hey, this was a good practice. This was okay. We got to be better tomorrow. Coach, how did you feel about practice leading up to last week's game?
I felt it was really good. Like he said, I thought Jacob was sharp. And when, your leaders are sharp, it helps the whole team just kind of focus in. I feel like we've been getting better and better every week. I've stayed on them, of course, which they'll say, but we expect such great things out of them. They want to be great. We're trying to raise the bar each week. Felt like we really hit it last week, especially that Monday practice, because they're so tough coming off the weekend, but we really started rolling and was very pleased with it.
You have a lot of weapons on offense. How do you keep all those guys happy?
You can't. I mean, even Tom Brady can't, You got Gav, Jordan, Bass, 11 catches for running backs.
Wow.
It's crazy. You have Isaiah, Boze's, and, I mean, there's a lot of weapons there, and you just got to spread it around,
And it might be a case where, depending on the defense that the other team has that week, it might be a big game for the receivers. It might be a bigger game for the running backs. Just what's the challenge in preparing against different defenses each week?
Oh, I love watching film. I love watching the different defenses and watching, like with Van. Van loves watching film.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, breaking down the defenses and, I mean, looking at something you haven't seen before and looking at the same thing. So it's great watch film.
Everybody knows the outcome last week, but what can this team and the players learn? And Coach, what can the whole program learn from Friday night?
That we are one of the top teams in North Carolina in 6A. As you can see, I saw a stat thing that we're like top 3 in 6A. And so we just need to stay consistent and stay hardworking.
All right, Westover Friday night, another road game for us, a team that was in our conference, so we're familiar with playing there, playing that team and all that. We beat Westover Friday night if we do what?
Execute. Execute's the word. We execute every play, every down, and we'll win.
Just playing to our standard, Coach Mack. You've said that a lot the past few weeks.
100%. Playing to the standard. I love the word execute because we're in a process now where, we're in shape. We're in the 4th week of the season. The word execute to me is a perfect word for this week. We've got people established. You're going to talk to Bassey a little bit. He's back healthy, which gives us that another big weapon out there. So if we execute the game plan, I feel on offense, defense, special teams, all 3 phases, feel like that's the key for the week.
Jake, appreciate coming on, man, and we're looking forward to more big games down the road.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yep.
We're back after the break with our second player of the week.
Go Dogs.
Welcome back to the Terry Sanford Coaches Report. Coach Mack, our second player of the week.
Yep, my pleasure, Coach. Second player of the week is sophomore, and I'll just say athlete, Sebastian O'Keefe.
Sir, great to be here. First time on the show.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Talking to Jacob, said running back, playing wide out. Do you have a preference for either running back or receiver, or you like hearing that athlete title by your name?
I just like athlete. I like touching the ball, getting in space, just moving with the ball. I just like the ball. Yeah.
A big game for us on Friday, Sebastian. 11 catches, 135 yards, and a touchdown on the season. 19 catches, 282 yards, and 3 touchdowns. When you see the stat line from last Friday, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I just like getting the ball. I mean,
Coach, we were talking about this a little bit. Like when you see 11 catches, we were trying to go through names of players we've had in the past 10 years, and we couldn't think of a receiver that had a game quite like that in a long time.
That's a great point. Thinking about the all-time leading receiver, AJ, Andrew Jane, Will Wicks, went back to Derek Boone, who Coach Yeager, when I was a young coach, and I don't ever remember anybody having 11. I remember him having some great games, but Sebastian O'Keefe, athlete. He hasn't been healthy. The first week he played for us, against 71st and running extra sprints, just trying so hard. And then last week in practice, it just seemed like everything came together. Jacob throwing the ball so well on Monday, the team being in. And then I saw that little extra step in Bassie's, we call him Bassie, in his game. And Friday night, the 11 catches, how big they were.
Yes.
I mean, up and over people, 3rd down and 15. I mean, it was just a great game.
I think the momentum for Friday started the week before on that kickoff return for touchdown at Smith. Kind of gave you a little juice last week at practice. Do you get the sense during the week at practice that you could potentially have a big game?
I mean, for sure, every week I'm confident, but definitely last week it was a great week of practice. I definitely felt ready to play this game, a big game too, so yes.
And just a couple catches really stand out. The catches in traffic with not one guy on you, not two, but sometimes 3 guys around you. Just is that a natural skill or something that's just you work at, or just how does that happen?
I mean, just looking in the ball, Jake can make great passes right where only I could get it. It's just playing part of playing receiver. You're going to have to take hits and just secure the ball while you're at it.
Coach, when you see catches like that and the momentum, it's a big momentum play too for the whole team.
Well, I love things that, athletes, he's very cognizant, but he doesn't know how hard he competes during practice. If it's a ball anywhere near him, he thinks I should have had that ball. And it just translates in the game. You try to tell young players, guys, how you practice is how you're going to play. And if you practice harder, the game will be easy. And he's the epitome of that. Anytime it's near him in practice, it can be behind him one hand. If he doesn't catch it, he's mad. Coming back to the huddle. So that's the reason why, as a sophomore, he's already at this level.
And I think both those catches, or 2 of those 11 that were just great catches, were across the middle of the field. And you have to have a different mindset as a receiver going across. The sideline is there sometimes, but across the field, just defenders are going to be there. That's
mindset.
Great
point.
That mindset. All right, we beat Westover Friday night. Got to kind of rebound from the Britt loss last week. We beat Westover Friday if Terry Sanford does what?
I mean, we definitely watch a lot of film. We have great coaches to have the scheme. We have great players, athletes. We just got to execute. I think we can run the ball, pass the ball. We can do anything with our team, our scheme. We can definitely do anything we need.
When defensive coaches watch film and they see a guy just stand out, they are going to know where you are at all times next week. How does that make you feel when you're kind of the marked man a little bit for the opposing team's defense?
I mean, like I said, we got the scheme, so if I'm not open, obviously someone else is going to be open. Jacob knows the right reads. Our team knows what we're doing, so everyone executes.
All right.
Team player.
Absolutely. I think the offense, we talked about just the weapons that are on that side of the ball. It's the team buy-in that group has, Coach.
It is, and just like he said, everybody wants the ball. Everybody wants to have a big game, and you want that as a coach. You want them to want the ball, but they also know that there's other things they can do to affect the game. Bassie last week against Smith, the catch, the run back, but he's also out there blocking. He's running his route hard, even if he's double covered to get somebody else open. That's how the whole offense is, just selfless.
All right, any personal or team goals for this season?
Team goals, obviously state championship, win conference, just keep winning. Personal goals, I don't really have them. Just keep playing good, keep supporting our team, helping the team be great.
Well, the better Sebastian plays, that's going to make the whole offense play. I mean, it's scary to think about how much better and he's going to get over the next few weeks.
It really is. He has the perfect mindset to get better this year, help us get better, and then his career is on the way up.
All right, Sebastian, appreciate you coming on, man, and we will see you ball out the rest of the year, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We're back after the break.
Go Dogs.
Back from our final timeout. We're back on the Terry Sanford Coaches Report. Westover this week, the Week 5 opponent. Yep. JV is at home tomorrow night, 6:30 kickoff, Bill Yeager Field, Armstrong Stadium. We go to Westover, again, a place that we're familiar with, having played there, a former conference rival. Westover Wolverines 1-3 on the season. Win over Lumberton, and then losses against Union Pines, Grays Creek, and Cape Fear. Just some early thoughts on Westover, Coach.
Typical Westover team, very athletic. On offense, they're going to spread you out and probably throw the ball. The Clyde kid at quarterbacks had a really, really good year just starting the season, and got some really good weapons out there. We've schemed them up, watched film. You pretty much know what you're going to get. But defensively, they've got that number 6 big guy in the middle who's going to patrol the middle. They kind of want to make you hit the outside because they have that speed and athleticism. So we've got to execute just like Jacob Moore and Sebastian said earlier. We've got to execute, worry about Terry Sanford, play to our standard, worry about what we do best, and then when we get into situations, perform.
Yeah, this has been a very competitive team all season. Opened up first off, first-year coach, and you have seen some growth over the course of the season so far. They have been very competitive, close games against Grays Creek and Cape Fear, 2 teams that definitely have our attention as conference rivals. Quarterback is averaging about 200 yards a game and about 100 yards on the ground from their running game. And one thing that I like to look at stats and numbers and all that, Coach Mack knows that. Yep. They have at least 6 players who have caught 5 passes.
Wow.
And so that's a very balanced wide receiver room for Westover this year.
Kind of mimics what we do, get it to the athlete that's open. So there's even more reason to worry about us and not worry about them. You can't pinpoint. It's not like they have a receiver who's got 25 catches, the next one's 10, like you just said, 6 with 5. The 100 yards rushing, so you pretty much know where you're going to get the rushing from. But we've got to play sound. We've got to play within our schemes offensively and defensively, and then we've got to win the special teams battle.
Yeah, I think a big thing for us this week, fundamentals. It's funny how sometimes you forget just basic things, tackling, and split lining up, communication. Those things can go a long way in helping you win, Coach.
Yeah, and I think last week we learned, hey, look, that's why you play the Jack Britts and the teams like that, the 71st, even Pine Forest, they're going to line up in different things. And defensively, I think we solved some of our problems about how to line up, who's going to talk, and different things. And week by week, things are going to come up where you have to do that. Offensively, felt like we huddled and called the line call, and then we could go fast. I felt like we kind of, picked up when we picked up the momentum. We kind of saw a little something in what we were doing. So we might, you might see a little bit more of that Friday night. So that's what it's all about, growing as a team, coaching staff with the players, and you all growing as one and becoming as good, better every week and as great as you can be by the end of the season.
Just talked about a very balanced offensive attack. Just, Coach, some real quick comments on their defense.
Defensively, it impressed me the way they run to the football. You're always going to have athletes when you play Westover. Mm-hmm. Their defense coordinator's done a great job of putting guys in position where they can contain. And, athletes are running to the football. Very impressed with, a couple of linebackers, a couple of defensive linemen that really get after it. And their DBs, they're very, very athletic and physical. They impressed with the way they tackle.
Yeah, when we get the schedule every year, you fully expect Westover to be a very athletic team. They're going to have some size. We got our hands full. I mean, we can't take anybody lightly at this point. Again, we are playing to our standard. We want to get better week by week. This is our game going into our bye week, so it'll be good next week to get some rest. Maybe get the guys a day off, get the coaches a day off. But just what's the message to the team? What's the message to the team going into the bye week, Coach?
The message is we've played 4 weeks. We've had the scrimmages. We've talked about things that we've cleaned up week to week. The message is let's have one of our best games going into Friday night. Let's play hard, play well, get a win. Our goal is to be 1-0 every week, and then clean some things up during that bye week and get everybody healthy.
I've always told guys that you're going to miss it next week.
Oh yeah,
I know it's just 1 week off, but we've been in football mode really since June 1st.
Man, it's so true.
You're going to have a Friday night like, what am I doing here? And so
feel weird to you.
Just go all out this week. Again, we are JV 6:30 kickoff tomorrow night at home. We are at Westover on Friday night. Again, clear bag policy. Make that short 10-minute drive to Westover, have a great crowd, and the guys love seeing that crowd, getting that energy.
Yes, we need those fans there. Please come out to the game and support
Real quick shout out. We have had a great atmosphere at home. It is so different this year compared to last year, and it's just we can feel that energy, Coach.
It really is, and I think the excitement with the new principal started with open house. The Booster Club does such a great job, so it's just been home has been an advantage to us. So we need to take some of that on the road this week.
Absolutely. Bulldog fans, we will see you Friday night at Westover. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.